Today, more of the 6 victims who lost their lives in the Bondi stabbing identified, while leaders pay their respects at the scene in Sydney's east. The perpetrator, named as 40-year-old Queensland man Joel Chachi, police describing the attack as mental health related. And Israel and its allies intercept hundreds of Iranian drones and missiles. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Dan Borshow. Tributes continue to flow for the victims of yesterday's fatal stabbing attack at the Bondi Junction Westfield in Sydney's east. 6 people were killed, 5 women and 1 man, when 40-year-old Joel Chachi went on a rampage in the shopping centre armed with a knife. He was shot and killed by a police officer. 12 others were injured in the attack, including a 9-month-old baby. 11 people are receiving treatment in hospital. Let's get the latest now from Melissa McKay, who's on the scene at Bondi Junction. Melissa, more of the victims from yesterday's tragedy have now been identified.
Yeah, Dan, as you just said, we know that 6 people were killed in this horrific attack yesterday afternoon, and their identities have slowly been coming to light throughout today as their families are releasing statements and images of their loved ones that they are happy to share. We know that 38-year-old mum Ashley Good was the first to be identified publicly. Her family have released a statement today saying that they are reeling from her loss, but they've also thanked the members of the public who cared for her 9-month-old baby in that moment following the attack, and we know that that 9-month-old baby is still in hospital. We've also identified 25-year-old Dawn Singleton, whose colleagues have released a statement today saying that they are devastated by her loss. 25-year-old Dawn was, of course, the daughter of John Singleton. We've also heard from the community of security guard Faraz Tahir. The Pakistani community of Sydney have said that they are standing together following his loss. And just recently, 47-year-old Jade Young was also identified as one of the victims of this attack. There are, of course, we've heard from authorities that there are 2 other victims who don't seem to have any family in Australia, and so authorities are, of course, trying to contact their loved ones. And Dan, as you said, there were 12 people hospitalised as well as a result of this horrific attack. One of those people has since been released from hospital, so there are still 11 people being treated this evening.
And Melissa, the Prime Minister, the New South Wales Governor, the New South Wales Premier, they've all been in Bondi today.
They have, Dan, among the hundreds, if not thousands of people who have been down here to Bondi Junction throughout this afternoon, laying wreaths and paying their respects. We saw late this afternoon the Governor of New South Wales come to lay a wreath and sign the condolence book following the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, as well as the Premier, of course, Chris Minns, who earlier this afternoon came to pay their respects. We've also this afternoon seen about a dozen SES volunteers come by to mark this really sombre and horrific occasion as well. We can take a listen, I think, Dan, to some of Chris Minns' comments from earlier this afternoon when he did come down to Bondi.
The paramedics, as well as the nurses in our public hospitals that worked around the clock to save lives and did an amazing job in difficult circumstances. To the ordinary members of the public that cornered and confronted a murderer in the Westfield shopping centre, showing what I would call instinctive bravery under terrible circumstances. And of course, Inspector Amy Scott, who ran towards danger, showed professionalism and bravery, and without a shadow of a doubt, saved many, many lives.
Yeah, just extraordinary examples of bravery there. Mel, you've also been speaking to people who've come there to pay tribute today. What have they had to say?
Well, a lot of the people that have come down this afternoon, Dan, have really echoed those sentiments of the Premier, really thanking the first responders and the staff, as well as the witnesses yesterday afternoon who stepped in and risked their lives to try and protect others. Of course, there's been a lot of praise for Police Inspector Amy Scott as well, who shot the attacker after that rampage throughout the shopping centre. There has been hundreds, if not thousands, of people down here this afternoon. Behind me, this floral tribute has been growing steadily all day today. We've seen so many people coming down, a lot of people really emotional, trying to just come to terms with what has happened here this afternoon. This is one of Sydney's biggest shopping centres. It was the first day of school holidays yesterday when people were coming down and just doing their Saturday afternoon shopping. A lot of people really, really upset by what's taken place and still trying to come to grips with what's happened in their own backyard. We can take a listen to some of their comments this afternoon.
It was really a big shock yesterday when it came through. I was like, no, this is not real. This is not happening.
I don't know, it's hard to put into words that it happened so close to home, it's really unfortunate.
It's devastated for all the victims and their families and what they're going through now. It's just horrific.
Traumatised. It's absolutely horrific what has happened. Yeah, no words, no words.
Well, Dan, late this afternoon we've also seen people managing to get back into the shopping centre to get their cars. We know there are about 1,500 cars that were stuck in the car park overnight. People unable, we've heard from some people unable to get home to western suburbs, etc. overnight. So people have now been able to get in there this afternoon. And we've also seen a huge number of dedicated mental health staff who have arrived here at Bondi Junction throughout this afternoon, approaching people and offering their support. So there's a lot going on here this evening, and no doubt a lot more to come over the coming days as this massive police investigation continues, and of course people of Sydney try to come to terms with what's happened in the city.
Melissa McKay reporting from Bondi. Thank you. And the family of victim Ashley Good have released a statement this morning. They said, "Today we are reeling from the terrible loss of Ashley, a beautiful mother, daughter, sister, partner, friend, all-round outstanding human, and so much more." The family went on to say, "We would also like to thank the New South Wales Police for their kindness and diligence in this tragedy, and emergency services for getting our baby the care she needed as quickly as possible. To the two men who held and cared for our baby when Ashley could not, words cannot express our gratitude." We've also received a statement from the Ahmadiyya Muslim community on another victim, Faraz Tahir. It says, "Faraz Tahir, aged 30, sought refuge in Australia just a year ago, fleeing persecution in his home country of Pakistan. He quickly became an integral part of our community." Faraz was known for his unwavering dedication and kindness. Faraz was not only a valued member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community of Australia, but also actively contributed to the charitable endeavours of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Organisation. Victorian Premier Jacinda Allen has announced that monuments across Melbourne will be lit up tonight to pay tribute to the victims of the stabbing attack at Westfield Bondi Junction. The buildings will be lit up white from dusk and include famous Victorian monuments such as the MCG, Federation Square, the National Gallery of Victoria and the Bolte Bridge. In a tweet, Ms Allen says, "Nothing we can do or say can help make sense of this senseless tragedy, but Victorians are sending love and light to the people of New South Wales in this moment of darkness." And we do know more today about the perpetrator of the Bondi attack. Police have confirmed 40-year-old Joel Chauci as the man behind the deadly stabbing spree. He'd moved to Sydney from Brisbane last month and he was known to Queensland Police.
Whilst the investigations are in their infancy and we're still conducting thorough investigations to assist New South Wales, I can say that the man has never been arrested by police in Queensland, nor has he been charged with any criminal offence. He has been in contact with the police primarily in the last 4 to 5 years would be the most contact we have had with him. During that contact, we are aware that this individual has suffered from mental health. We are liaising with this man's family in Queensland, and we have spent yesterday evening, last night and today with the family in delivering the message regarding their son and assisting them with regards to providing information to the New South Wales Police Force. The family have cooperated with the Queensland Police Service in this regard, and they are issuing a statement on their behalf with respect to their own condolences and thoughts to the family and friends of those victims involved in this tragedy. Equally, they have sent a message to the New South Wales Police Force with respect to support of the police officer who has killed their son and expressing their concerns for her welfare.
Forensic officers are continuing to gather evidence, and the Australian Federal Police have also been deployed to the crime scene. New South Wales Police say at this stage there is nothing to indicate the attack was driven by ideology.
We are continuing to work through the profiling of the offender, but very clearly to us at this stage it would appear that this is related to the mental health of the individual involved.
Meanwhile, leaders across the country have praised the actions of emergency services and first responders. They've also expressed their condolences to those affected.
The events of yesterday have shocked the nation. Australians are waking up to try to deal with the shock and trauma that will come with what has occurred, with violent actions that are unspeakable and really just beyond comprehension.
Reporter Marianne Toke has more from Randwick Children's Hospital.
New South Wales Health Department have provided an update this afternoon. There are now 11 victims of this tragedy in hospital across 6 hospitals throughout Sydney. So we have 4 patients at St Vincent's Hospital, some in the intensive care unit in a critical condition. We also have 2 at Royal Prince Alfred, and we had 3 at Prince of Wales, but a woman has since been discharged. She was in a stable condition earlier this morning. There still remains 1 at St George, 1 at Royal North Shore Hospital, and here at the Sydney Children's Hospital in Randwick, there is a 9-month-old baby girl. She is in a critical but stable condition. She underwent surgery last night, and her mother is, of course, Ashley Good, who died from her injuries overnight as tributes continue to flow for that family.
And we've heard, Marianne, so many reports about the bravery of people within the shopping centre during the attack who ran to help out when they could see exactly what was unfolding. There's also the incredible work of the first responders. Do you have a sense of how they are dealing after yesterday's ordeal?
Yeah, I think the sentiment that we're hearing a lot of from the ministers and those that are speaking to those first responders is they are wrapping their arms around them, that it's very much a community feel. New South Wales Health Minister Ryan Park spoke to them yesterday, the first responders as in the paramedics and those in the New South Wales Health emergency departments. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
What we all as Australians just cannot believe is that while there's plenty of questions that we don't have answers to yet, what we do understand is that the bravery and courage and skill and dedication of our frontline police officers and paramedics have kept people alive, and people are alive this morning because of that.
Minister Park also said that there will be additional mental health services available for those people that are particularly impacted by this. There will be more mental health services at Bondi Junction, at the scene of the crime, but also it is reminding everyone to keep mental health and their own mental health condition front of mind.
Iranian drones targeting Israel have been intercepted by its military and allied aircraft. Earlier today, Iran sent dozens of unmanned drones towards Israel before later firing destructive ballistic missiles. The US President Joe Biden says the US has helped Israel take down nearly all incoming drones and missiles. Middle East correspondent Alison Horn has more from Jerusalem.
It was just before 11 p.m. local time that reports first started emerging that Iran had launched a series of drone and missile strikes towards Israel. It's incredibly significant because it's the first time Iran has ever directly targeted Israel on the homeland. Usually it would use proxies like Hezbollah in Lebanon or the Houthis in Yemen, but these drone and missile attacks were coming directly from Iran. It wasn't entirely unexpected. For weeks, Iran had been promising revenge after a number of its senior military leaders were killed in an airstrike that struck the Iranian consulate in Damascus about a fortnight ago. And although Israel hasn't claimed responsibility for that airstrike, it is widely considered to have been behind it. So Iran has been threatening revenge, and the United States has been warning that Iran was planning a significant attack for days. We've seen that play out now in the last couple of hours with these hundreds of drones and missiles that have been launched towards Israel. When we first got reports of this imminent attack, we were told that it would be a couple of hours until the drones actually made it across the airspace into Israeli territory. It took about 3 hours, and then we saw the sky light up with giant balls of orange being shot in arcs across the sky. Even here in Jerusalem, we saw that there were dozens of drones and missiles that were being intercepted by Israel's aerial defence capabilities, including the Iron Dome and the Arrow, which have the ability to intercept and literally shoot down these drones and rockets out of the sky. Israel says it did manage to intercept nearly all of those rockets and drones. It says it had help from the United States and the United Kingdom in targeting some of those missiles before they actually got to Israeli territory. But we do know that there have been some of these drones that have made local landfall, although there has been minimal damage here. The question now remains, what will Israel's response be to this attack? It has already been said by Israel's security cabinet that it has a range of options available to it, that it could be considering an unprecedented response, which would surely escalate this shadow war into a further potential war now between these two arch enemies. There are a great number of discussions taking place behind the scenes, particularly with the United States trying to de-escalate this situation. The US saying that it will not lend support, crucially will not lend support if Israel goes on the offensive inside Iran. It's incredibly important because we know that it can just take one instance for situations to evolve into a wider regional conflict here, and that is a situation that many parties are trying to avoid.
Alison Horn reporting. And the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Hamas has rejected the latest proposal for a deal to return Israeli hostages held in Gaza. In a statement, it says rejection of the proposal shows the leader of Hamas in Gaza does not want a deal and is trying to exploit tensions with Iran and bring about a regional escalation of the conflict. It says Israel will continue to pursue its objectives in Gaza, quote, with full force. Back home now, and the saying goes, a man's shed is his castle. And ABC's Landline team gets to see some pretty epic sheds around the country. The latest belongs to a bloke by the name of Steve Ralph on Queensland's Sunshine Coast hinterland. Pip Courtney went along to check it out.
The Glasshouse Mountains is one of Queensland's most stunning locations. Camera operators love filming here, but...
Hey Ed, I know it's pretty out there, but we're here to film the shed.
What's that?
Okay, these guys. Okay, I know it's pretty, but
This is an inside shoot with Cobb & Co history buff Steve Ralph.
Here we are on the shed.
Steve sent in a video inviting Landline to visit so he could show off his impressive shed. When we arrived, he was working alongside his two offsiders, John and Keith, and his son Derek.
Yeah, that one a bit harder, Derek. Sit.
In the shed, which he built in stages, Steve repairs, restores and rebuilds vintage horse-drawn carriages, carts and sulkies. It's home to an impressive collection of tools and machines. A mix of bought, bequeathed, donated and scavenged.
Just another spoke in the wheel.
He can build anything. He's a tool maker by trade, and with that experience, he can build anything at all.
How talented is he?
Really good. Really. If he says he can do something, he'll do it. Yeah.
And if he hasn't got a machine or he can't find one...
He'll make one.
Steve's obsession with Cobb & Co started with this carriage. Using modern and old-time trade skills, he took it from rotten and in pieces to a fully functioning as-new coach.
That's that side coming, Keith, just about there.
Yeah, it's coming good.
30 years ago, John Groves asked Steve for help restoring an old sulky.
There you go, there's one.
Still mates, John pops in once a week and he's more than muscle.
Why have you got the nickname the Scrounger?
Well, if Steve's after something he can't find it, I can normally find it for him.
And what percentage of stuff in piles is junk here? Or is that a rude word in this shed,
well,
junk?
If you can't get any more, it's not junk. And a lot of this stuff is not made anymore, so hang on to what you've got, otherwise there's nothing else.
Another mate, Keith Schultz, is a regular visitor.
Your web's broken too, you know, Kit.
Yeah.
So that's how you're getting away with it.
Do the three of you enjoy each other's company when you're working in the shed?
Yeah, yeah.
Watch out for snakes.
A bit of bull goes on, but yeah, no, it's pretty good. Talk about old times and yeah. There's a beauty, a little green one.
The Cobb & Co obsession has occupied Steve and his loyal helpers for 5 years, working on this. It's a replica of a monster horse-drawn carriage called the Leviathan, which worked the Geelong-Ballarat line in 1860.
So how many people could fit in and on the Leviathan?
Well, 75 all up. 36 on the roof.
And how many in?
20 men in the back, 16 women in the front, and 3 up with the driver.
When the wheels are fitted, this giant, which needed 8 horses to pull it, will weigh 6 tonnes.
Can I have a look inside in the men's section?
In the men's section, you'll be right.
So this is the men's section?
Yes, very privileged to be in it.
Yes.
Like the driver could cop a fine, you know.
Oh, really? How much has it cost you so far?
I'd hate to add it up, but somewhere around 300,000. But if you split that over 5 or 6 years or something, it's all I earn. Whatever I earn, I put into it.
Steve wants to finish the Leviathan this year and then take it to schools, so Cobb & Co isn't forgotten.
Well, Cobb & Co was the world's largest coaching firm. The first company that started franchising. They had 600 coaches, 60,000 horses. If there's a company to be studied, the ingenuity.
Steve suffers from an affliction common in rural Australia. He thinks he needs a bigger shed.
Well, I think it's about 60 metres long and 30 metres wide, but it's not big enough. I need a bigger one.
Stop it. So what's over here? Let's have a look.
I was quite taken with the blacksmithing bay.
Yeah. That's the smallest anvil I've ever seen. Why is that special?
Well, Noel Wheelwright left that to me in his will.
How old would that be?
1840, and never had the electric motor on, run by a steam engine.
Wow, and it's still useful?
Still useful.
And when he couldn't find a machine to bend metal into circles for wheels, he made this. The retired toolmaker has some serious skills.
So is that your theory? If you can't scrounge it or buy it, you can make it?
I can make it.
Alrighty, let's keep moving. I think we've got some junk to look at.
Junk, she says. It's not junk, it's treasure.
And what do you think? Junk collector or genius? Either way, that is one serious shed. See the story and more on Landline anytime on iView. On the satellite, humid winds are bringing showers across the north of the country and across southern Western Australia. Looking at the synoptic, a weak front will see showers in Tasmania and southern Victoria. A high pressure system is keeping elsewhere dry. Looking around the country for tomorrow, in Queensland, mostly sunny in the west, showers in the northeast and mostly cloudy in the southeast. Mostly sunny for New South Wales and the ACT with late rain in the northeast. For Victoria, showers in the southwest, morning fog in the northeast and mostly sunny elsewhere. Turning to Tasmania, showers in the southwest, windy on the highlands, mostly cloudy in the southeast and mostly clear in the north. Mostly sunny for South Australia with showers in the southeast. To Western Australia, clear in the northwest, morning fog in the south, mostly sunny elsewhere. In the Northern Territory, isolated showers for the Arnhem District, sunny and warm over the interior, mostly clear elsewhere. Looking ahead to Tuesday's forecast for the capital cities, mostly cloudy for Brisbane, mostly sunny for Sydney, fog clearing in Canberra, possible showers for Melbourne, Hobart mostly cloudy, mostly sunny for Adelaide and Darwin, clear in Perth. And in some news just in, the family of Bondi stabbing perpetrator Joel Chauci have issued a statement. It says, "We are absolutely devastated by the traumatic events that occurred in Sydney yesterday. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends of the victims and those still undergoing treatment at this time. Joel's actions were truly horrific and we're still trying to comprehend what has happened. He has battled with mental health issues since he was a teenager. We're in contact with both the New South Wales Police Force and the Queensland Police Services and have no issues with the police officer who shot our son, as she was only doing her job to protect others, and we hope she is coping all right." And in other news to hand, at the request of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, flags across Australia will be flown at half-mast tomorrow to honour the victims of the Bondi stabbing attack. That is the latest from ABC News. You can keep up to date at news.abc.net.au and on ABC iView. I'm Dan Borsha. Thank you for your company.